My name is Overbosch. I'm the team lead for the program advisors at Nyenrode. And as program advisors, we help you as a student to really make sure that you have all the information that you need before you decide to start your studies, potentially at Nyenrode, of course. I visited Taiwan a few times, and so unfortunately this year we have to meet each other online, but hopefully in the future we will also be able to see each other in Taiwan again. So a short introduction to Nyenrode. We're the only private research university in the Netherlands, and our activities are fully focused on business. And that is also because we were founded by the Business Network in the Netherlands, and that was in 1946, which was actually quite a special year because it was the year after the Second World War ended. And the idea of this university was really to educate young people to do business abroad and to rebuild the economy of the Netherlands. And this is also what you still see in the DNA of this university. So we're very much practically focused on the business and the application of academic theories. And at our university, we have two locations. One is Breukelen, where Kevin is also a current student. And we also have a location in Amsterdam, where I'm sitting now, actually. And we offer several programs, like said, all specialized and focused on business studies. Ranging from marketing to finance, and we have a bachelor, a master, several MBAs, and a lot of executive education programs as well. At Nyenrode, we do a lot of emphasis also on building a community throughout your studies already, and that is also why we have a very strong alumni network. So at Nyenrode, we always offer education in smaller groups. Where you get to know each other very well. And of course, that also results in you keeping in touch for a very long time. Here on the screen, you will also see 3 of our accreditations. That, of course, shows that we offer education at the right academic level. So now I want to show you 2 short videos. And the first one is about Amsterdam. So at this location in Amsterdam, if you are interested in our bachelor or master's program, you can choose whether you want to study in Breukelen or Amsterdam, and our full-time MBA is offered only here in Amsterdam. So next up, a video of the campus in Breukelen. Please note that this was recorded a few months ago when it was snowing in the Netherlands. Luckily, we passed that station, but one of our students from the MSc will show you around the campus location of Breukelen in the next video. Let me see. Oops. So hopefully that gave you a nice short impression of the two locations that we offer. To clarify, we also show it here on the map. As you can see at the top, we have the location in Amsterdam, the capital of the Netherlands. And just a little bit below that is Breukelen. The commute between Breukelen and Amsterdam is approximately 30 minutes by public transport. So also, if you decide to study in Breukelen, it's very easy to get around. Like Taiwan, the Netherlands is also a relatively small country, so it's also easy to travel to other cities in the Netherlands, like The Hague, Rotterdam, or Utrecht. And for students, well, especially after Corona, it's of course very nice to also be able to visit other parts of the Netherlands. So back to Nyenrode's mission and values. our foundation of basically every program that we offer lies in 3 core values, which are leadership, entrepreneurship, and stewardship. And what does that mean? Is that leadership is really about developing yourself. Entrepreneurship is developing your organization or the organization that you work for. And stewardship kind of balances out that effect by also taking into consideration the world around you. And that is why we say at Nyenrode, we educate people to serve society. So our mission statement is really serving society by shaping responsible leaders. So we don't want to learn students just to make a profit, but also to take into consideration what that means on a longer term. And I already mentioned it, we're a very practical university, and to achieve that, we combine solid academic theories, of course, but we also offer practical relevance, which means that you will be doing a lot of reflection on, okay, this theory is nice, but what does it mean in practice? And of course, personal development, to really get to know yourself in order to make better decisions in the future, help you in your career orientation, of course. And this is done both by the workshops that we offer in the program, but of course also because you will be part of a student community which is very diverse, people from several backgrounds, both culturally and educational. So in that way, we really shape you as a person to take the next step in your career, whatever level that may be. And to support students in their professional development, we have a career and personal development office. And this team really is there for the students from the bachelor, masters, and MBAs to guide them into figuring out, first of all, what they like to do, what they're good at. And of course, also once you complete the program or are approaching the end of your studies, to really go in depth on your next career step. That means that every student in our programs really gets a personal career plan, which is detailed to an extent that you can really make that, really execute the plan in order to, if you wish, of course, find a nice position in the Netherlands after your studies. What the Netherlands offers in general, which is a very nice arrangement for international students, is the so-called orientation year, which allows you to stay in the Netherlands for 1 year after completing your degree in order to either start a position somewhere in a company or stay here and look for a job. So they do all sorts of things down to the very practical level as well, like doing mock interviews. So we have 3 international programs that we will briefly touch upon today. They are the full-time MSc in Management, like I said, offered in Amsterdam and in Breukelen. The full-time MBA, which is offered in Amsterdam, and the Bachelor in Business Administration, offered both in Amsterdam and Breukelen. The full-time MSc Management program is for young professionals. So we really aim at people between 0 and 3 years of work experience, which means that work experience is not mandatory to start this program. The group consists of approximately 70% Dutch students and 30% internationals. Which already tells you that if you choose for Nyenrode, and of course Kevin will also be able to tell you about that, it's a very Dutch-oriented university, which is a nice opportunity also for you as an international student, because you can really dive into the Dutch culture, which is quite special, I can tell you, and complicated. So this program in total takes you 16 months because there is a 4-month pre-master, which prepares you to enter the actual master phase. If there might be exemptions for your pre-masters will be discussed during your admissions procedure. Of course, here we offer the personal leadership and development journey. You will, for instance, also be doing a real practical assignment for a company in our network, or start working on your own organizational plan. The fees for this program are in total 29,250 euros, and this program starts every year with a pre-master mid-August. Then the full-time MBA. Of course, there are many full-time MBA programs offered, and that is why Nyenrode designed it to be especially focused on business in Europe. So if you're wondering what makes this MBA different from any others, it's the focus on Europe. And that is why you also will be joining several trips to 6 European cities throughout the MBA program. And this program is set up to have mostly theoretical courses in the first half year, and then the second half year, you will be doing the so-called business practices. And then with every business practice, there is an international visit to a European country. Here, of course, because for the MBA, on average, people have 5 years of work experience. So they will also be in touch with the business network a lot throughout the studies. For instance, during the Meet the CEO sessions, 70% of the students in the MBA decide to stay in the Netherlands after completing their program. And of course, the same goes with the orientation year. The tuition fee for this program is 32,000 euros for the 1 year, and it excludes the flights and the visa and the housing expenses. And we have an agreement with a campus just outside of Amsterdam, and the rent is approximately 1,000 euros a month. But it also includes a lot of services such as sports, a gym subscription, utilities, etc. And this program also starts in the first week of September. Then last but not least, the Bachelor in Business Administration, a 3-year full-time program. Really for those who have just completed high school and want to gain both business knowledge, but of course also experience already some practical elements of business throughout their bachelor studies. And this is quite special for academic education in the Netherlands, because usually throughout an academic bachelor, you will be mostly focusing on academic theory. And not so much the practical experiences, but at Nyenrode we really do that differently. So for instance, there is mandatory sports, there is a company project in the second year, and of course also a study abroad semester at one of our partner universities. Students will also, in terms of a concrete example of stewardship, which I mentioned before, one of our core values is that they will also be doing a fundraising project. The fees for this program are 20,500 euros for year 1 and 2, and then 21,000 for year 3. And many of you have, of course, been wondering about the COVID-19 situation here in the Netherlands. So I figured I'd just give you a few details on this. So of course, as we are a business school and we want to do more than just theory, we strive to go back to offline education as much as possible as soon as we're allowed to. Currently, the government restrictions allows us to offer offline education once a week per student. So that means that every student has the right to have offline education once a week. And we aim to go back to approximately 75% offline classes as of September. And the reason for that is that we do the lectures that are mostly focused on knowledge transfer. We do that online, and then the interactive sessions will be actually in the lecture rooms. At Nyenrode, we have all facilities ready for hybrid education as well. So if a student cannot attend a class physically, for instance, because they might be infected or they are abroad, they can also join all the lectures online. Here we also have rapid tests available. So every student is able to test itself on corona before they enter the class. We have very strict supervision over the basic hygienic rules, which is wearing a face mask when you walk around inside. Once you sit down, you are allowed to take the face mask off. And of course, we keep 1.5 meters distance. Also, for instance, with international students coming from high-risk countries, they have to go into quarantine when they arrive before they will be able to move around freely outside. And the campus housing is open in Breukelen, so students do live on campus there as well, which is actually a nice thing, because then you still are able to see your classmates actually more than when you would live in your own dorm elsewhere. A little bit about admissions. So at Nyenrode, we have an admissions procedure, which starts always with filling in the application form on our website for the specific program that you want to apply for. Once you fill in that form, you will be contacted to schedule Nyenrode's admissions test, unless you already have a GMAT. So the admissions test of Nyenrode is definitely a good alternative to the GMAT, because it's mostly like a professional assessment. It requires you less preparation than you would need for the GMAT. And the admissions test consists of a personality questionnaire and an IQ part. And after completing that test, every student also has a personal intake interview, which of course takes place online if you're abroad. In terms of language requirements, we on the screen it also shows we require 91 plus for TOEFL, 6.5 for IELTS, and C1 level on Cambridge Advanced. So you can choose whatever test you wish to apply for. And a good thing is, in case you're still thinking about applying for 2021, which is still possible for all programs, you can start your application and obtain your English certificate later. So you basically have to submit the English certificate by the start of the program latest. Once you get accepted, our admissions office will also support you in the housing and visa services. For housing, this means that the housing in Breukelen is approximately 350 euros a month when you share a room. And in Amsterdam, it's approximately 1,000 euros a month. We also offer scholarships, and for the full-time MSc, that's approximately 1/3 of the tuition fee, and it will always be deducted from the master's tuition fee. For full-time MBA, it's a maximum of 5,000 euros, and for the BSc, it's a maximum of 5,000 euros a year. So every year you get 5,000 euros discount. So that was for my part. I figured to keep it short, and please let me know if you have any questions so far for me before we move on to Kevin's part.
I have a quick question. I'm Kevin. Yeah, can we find the videos, the campus tour videos on YouTube or anywhere else?
Definitely, yeah,
okay.
Yeah. They are to be found on YouTube.
Okay, cool. Because I just tried to find those on YouTube. I can only find the Amsterdam one. I couldn't find the new Brooklyn one.
All right. Well, you should be able to find it if you look for Campus Tour Breukelen.
Okay.
But wait, let me. I think I have a good trick. It's Campus Tour Breukelen Campus, but I will just put
Maybe
it in the chat room.
Yeah. That'd be fantastic.
Let's see, where's that? I never use Zoom. Oh, here it is. Here you go.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. That's very good.
Okay, that's great. We do have some questions from students in this room. So I guess maybe I should ask Johnny asking his question first.
Hi, Amber.
Hi.
Hi, my question is about scholarship is that, as I know, the scholarships are sponsored by alumni, and the tips of writing of my motivation letters, it includes what do I expect for the donors to mentor me during the campus. However, I don't know what's the background of the future donors. Yes, how can I expect to learn from him?
Well, there should be a small nuance also there, because we do indeed have scholarships from alumni donors, but we also have scholarships from the program management budget. So basically, if you apply for a scholarship at the admissions office, we will see if you match the criteria of one of our donors, or you will be able to receive a scholarship from the program management budget. But indeed, it's something that the donors really value, is that students become active members of the community on the Breukelen campus. And I think that's also something nice to ask Kevin about later on, because the environment in Breukelen is also very much focused on the student association. And the donors actually would like to know, would you kind of contribute to, for instance, certain committees within the student association? And yeah, so basically, if you write your motivation for a scholarship, it's important to take into account what you aim to contribute to the Nyenrode community. And from there, we will see also from the admissions side whether you meet the criteria of one of the donors from that perspective, or we are able to grant you a scholarship from the program management budget. Does that answer your question?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Another question is that what kind of events that student association will host on the campus?
I think that, well, I can answer, of course, a part of that, but perhaps we should park that for Kevin also to answer, because he is, of course, an actual student. I'm just a staff member. But yeah, so the student association is very active. Let me just answer that in general. There's quite some group pressure also socially. There is an introduction period, which is also quite tough. Kevin didn't have to do that, I guess.
I didn't have to do that. Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah. So, but yeah, let Kevin answer that question later on.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we still have other questions.
Hi, Amber. This is Chin from Taipei.
Hi.
I have been in email with you before.
Yes.
And yes, nice to meet you. And my question is, can students choose Brooklyn and Amsterdam campus by themselves?
Let me see if I got that question correct. So you wanted to know whether you can choose Breukelen or Amsterdam?
Yeah, it's open for students to choose by themselves.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So in some cases, we do advise students in a certain direction, but in essence, you're free to choose the location yourself. Okay. So maybe an example of sometimes where we advise students to go to a certain location, for instance, like I said, the student association and the social part of Breukelen is quite prominent. For instance, if there are students who also have some side business, they are, for instance, an entrepreneur, then we sometimes say, okay, it's better to go to Amsterdam because then it's a little bit more flexible in terms of your social life.
Okay, thank you for your answer. And I have a second question that is because there's a task, student can, during application, student can choose either test from Nyenrode or GMAT, right?
Yes.
Is there any score of GMAT that like if a student reaches what kind of GMAT score, then they don't have to take the assessment test from Nyenrode?
Yeah, so for GMAT, we expect at least 550 as the score. And it also works that way that, for instance, if you do not meet the required score for GMAT, then you can still take the Nyenrode admissions test as an alternative. But we do advise students who are certain that they wish to apply for Nyenrode to really take the Nyenrode admissions test because it saves you a lot of time simply. And then for the Nyenrode admissions test, you score on a scale from 0 to 7. And there you need to score at least 3, which is super vague if you do not know the test. But if you want to know more details, I can send you a document about it.
Okay, thanks for your information. Yes.
We have another question.
Sure. Hi, Amber. Not sure if you can.
Hi.
Hi. So, as far as I know, direct entry into any Dutch university is ended. So my question for you is that do you have any bachelor courses that's applicable in international business administration?
Well, our admissions are still open for the coming academic year, if that's your question.
So for
So for the start in September 2021, you can still apply for a university. So the case there is that we are a small university, and that also allows us to be quite flexible. So basically, if it's still manageable to get your visa in order in time, then it's possible to apply quite late for our university.
Oh, so just to reiterate, the latest date that I should apply to, is September 2021.
Well, if you want to start in September 2021, of course, there is the admissions procedure and also the visa application. So you should be a little bit earlier, of course. But basically for the MSc, we set the deadline mid-June. So that's 15th of June from the top of my head. And then for the full-time MBA, for instance, it's actually June 30. So you have quite some time left to apply.
What about for IBAs, so like bachelor levels? When would the latest be?
So IBA, could you be a little bit more specific? Because of course we offer only business programs, but we offer them at 3 different levels. So bachelor, master's, and MBA. Which program are you looking for?
Bachelor's.
Bachelor's, yeah. So for the bachelor's also, it's still possible to apply. I believe that they have the deadline on June 1st now, but it's still possible to apply. So you will have 1 month left to decide.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, we still have more questions from Shin.
Yes,
of course.
I have another question, like what's the selection criteria to Nyenrode? Like when selecting students, what would you look at, hard skill or soft skill?
There are some noises in between. I'm sorry.
You mute yourself? Yeah, I mute them. Okay.
Thank you, Kevin. Sorry, Jean, could you repeat your question? I didn't hear it.
Okay, so what kind of hard skill and soft skill, like personality or like hard skill, does Nyenrode look for when selecting students?
That's a very nice question. Thank you. What we're looking for is those who are seeking a community. So we're really looking for the social type of person really to become part of this group and community that we offer. Also, we're looking for students who are not only interested in the academic side. Because our university is very practical, we're looking for more of the entrepreneurial type of student. So those who are really interested in business reality. And that also, of course, means that sometimes you have to do a little bit more than you would do to only simply pass your course. But there will be additional things requested from you outside of just reaching a certain score for a topic.
Okay, thank you.
We have another question from Johnny.
Of course.
Hi, Amber. I have two more questions. And first is that in the pandemic periods, the business tree will go on. Hello?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I mean that in pandemic periods, the business trees will go on as usual, or it will transform to other types. And my second question is that I saw there are expertise center in Nyenrode. Yeah, that means you can focus on expertise such as accounting and controls. I don't know if there's enough time for master students to take part in that. Yeah, that's my two questions. Thank you.
Yeah, so first of all, the international visits. So currently we have the policy from the university that we, for instance, in the bachelor's program, we have the half-year exchange. In the master's, we have the global immersion module, which is part of the specialization track. And in the MBA, of course, we have the several business practices modules where you also go abroad. And currently, because the situation in Europe is well, not stable in every country yet, we decided to decide 1 month before the visit takes place whether it can go ahead or it should be postponed or executed in a different way. So last year, of course, unfortunately, we weren't able to travel at all. And then the students had an online alternative where they basically visited the same companies as they would in person, only online. And for those students also, we designed a special honors class. So after they completed their MSCs, in this case, they still got a voucher to join one of our executive programs later on with a value of 2,500 euros. And on top of that, a few additional offline meetings were scheduled. So in order to compensate for that part of the program. And let me think, what was the second question was about the specializations in the master's program. So in the MSc management program, you choose a specialization within the master's, and you have the options global business, digital business and innovation, and financial management. So from these three topics, you choose one. Outside of that, there is one other time where you get to decide something that kind of specializes you in a certain direction. And that is within the personal leadership and development journey, where you decide on one of the three core values, which I mentioned. So with leadership, you will do a consultancy assignment for a company in our network. With entrepreneurship, you start working on your own business plan with the guidance of a startup coach. And when you decide on stewardship, you will do a social project. So that is an additional way where you can specialize. Well, I'm answering for the MSc in management because I know you're applying for that program. In the MBA program, for instance, there are some specialization courses, some topics you can choose from. Well, thank you all for attending, and I will post my email address in the chat right now. So if any other questions come up, feel free to let me know. And thank you for your attention. I wish you a lot of fun with Kevin. I will be checking out because following this session in Mandarin, it's not possible for me at all. And Dual, thank you as well for setting up this session, and I see you soon.
Yes, thank you so much for your excellent presentation and your contribution. And I hope that you'll have a very nice day today.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.